Oh, hi. My name's Dave O'Brien, and I am Marcella Weis' son-in-law. Marcella is celebrating her 90th birthday this year. And 90 years, that is a long time. That's like 680 dog years. Marcella's seen a lot of changes in her lifetime. The invention of the television, the computer, and the internet. You no longer have to click the thing and say, "Sarah, get me Mount Pilot," to use the telephone. She's lived through the Great Depression, the Second World War, Cuban Missile Crisis, sexual revolution. She knows who shot JR, 9/11. She's followed a lumberman around from state to state. She's had 7 kids. A lot of history between 1922 and present day. So what you're about to see is a brief biography of Marcella's life, and I hope you enjoy it. Is she here? Here, bring her up close. Marcella, it's Dave. Just want you to know I love you and I hope you enjoy this.
Who's 90?
Who's 90?
I was 70.
I was going to say, I don't know anybody who's 90.
I was 70, and then all of a sudden now they're having a 90th birthday. I can't figure that out.
So I'm guessing since we're going to be celebrating your 90th birthday, that means you were born in 1922.
22.
19 and 22.
October 6th.
And
What time of day? I don't know.
were you born
On the farm.
right on the farm?
Right on the farm.
Was that very common?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. My mom only went to the hospital with the last 2, Betty
Okay.
and Jim.
okay. And Betty and Jim. Who? Name all of your other siblings.
Lucille, Dorothy,
Yep, who we know,
and me,
and you.
and then Betty, and then Jim.
Okay. Who was your mother? Just tell me a
Marie
little bit about
Gaddis.
her. Marie. Grandma Marie Gaddis.
Right.
And German folk?
English and Scotch, too.
What was your dad's name?
Fred.
Fred?
Fred
What are some memories you have from childhood? Some things that stick out as a young lady.
How cold it was.
How cold.
How the wind blew and the dust blew. I said when we left South Dakota and moved to Indiana, that's one thing I missed was the wind blowing and the dust blowing.
Oh, you missed the dust?
Oh, yeah. Well, you missed the dust when it wasn't blowing.
I can't
Grew up
imagine.
on the
that.
farm,
but not hungry. Did you where did you go to school?
Harrisburg for 8 years.
In Harrisburg.
For 7.
And where was the farm? Just outside of T?
No, outside of Sioux Falls.
Outside of Sioux Falls.
Right on the
okay.
highway there, and I don't know what the number of the highway is.
Okay.
It's down from the Minnesota Hill, you know.
Okay. And while never going hungry, were there neighbors or people you knew who were
Never
struggled?
going hungry, but we did not have lush things. We had salads and tomatoes when they were in season, you know, and all that. Candy bars. I can remember my mother bringing candy bars home, and we would cut it up into pieces, you know, so that we'd have 1 piece a day. It wasn't like you could eat that candy bar just then.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of what like say a typical Christmas? Is it vastly different than how it is now?
Vastly.
Vastly.
Vastly. We. I don't think my dad was as afraid of candles as Bill Schneider is, or was. But we never had candles on the tree or anything like that, you know. We were lucky if we had a tree.
But
For some reason or other, that just wasn't important to him.
and your mom agreed or didn't want to make waves?
I don't know, but I think maybe my mom was so busy
Sure.
that she just tried to get a package or 2 under the tree for us.
Ever take vacations, either one or two of you or the whole family or anything?
I
suppose
can
not.
remember my mom and, well, it went down to me. going out to the Black Hills with my uncle, my mom, and us. My mother was quite a driver.
Yeah.
In fact, I think she did all of the driving that was to be had around our house.
Was there anything you'd consider a hobby as a kid?
Not as a kid, but
Or a young lady?
I like sewing.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. If I could get a piece of material, I would be making something
Is that something you carried on?
for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Is that maybe where Kathy got that?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
showed her the ropes?
I don't think I really did. She just started playing with her Barbie dolls, you
Okay.
know, and sewing for them,
Oh.
and picked it up.
Well, I imagine your mom was an inventive cook, as you had to be with so few staples. Would you consider her a good cook, or was your mother?
I can remember a lot of things that I wished I could make as well.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. She had a knack for putting things together.
well, it must have been difficult.
Bread pudding.
Bread pudding?
She could
Okay.
make the best bread pudding. Dressing for a chicken. I've never had anything like my Grandma Gaddis's.
Is that a recipe you still have, or?
No. Just all in her head.
Oh, just whipped it together.
Raisins and everything in her dressing. Oysters.
Whatever washed up on shore, she'd throw in there.
That was good.
No, I'm teasing. So your mom, obviously a very strong person in your life and your upbringing. What if you had to say the thing you remember most or fondest of your mother? What would that be?
Getting up and milking cows. I cannot imagine it. Why anyone would want to be a farmer back in those days. I cannot imagine it. I only knew one thing growing up, and that was I wanted nothing to do with that farm. It was just too hard a life. We didn't get electricity on the farm, although we were on a main highway. We did not get electricity until I was in college.
No kidding. Who was the first to leave the house of your brothers and sisters?
Went by road.
Just right down the line?
Lucille graduated. She said she was going to go to cosmetology school, and she went. My next sister graduated, and she said she was going to get married because she was in love.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. And I graduated, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. My dad said, "You're going to go to school." And I went to school. I went down to Mount Marty College
Mount Marty?
in
Is
Yankton.
in Yankton, okay.
Uh-huh.
And what did you study?
Teaching, education.
Teaching. So you took your classes, and now granted it was a Catholic college, but I imagine you still found a way to have a good time every now and then?
I can remember sneaking out a couple of times,
Okay.
yeah.
What would be considered a sort of a fun night or a date in that era?
Oh, just making friends and
Mhm.
having them come home with me for the weekend, you know.
Did you sort of go out in packs, or?
We kind of, yeah, you had your own group that you were with, yeah.
Okay. But so that got you at least out of the house and your first taste of life on your own.
Yep.
Now,
That was the big blizzard, you know, of
oh
November.
sure, the Armistice Day
Uh-huh.
blizzard, really? And
We came home. We came home from college. I brought a girlfriend with me, and we were home for almost a week before we did. We had chicken coops at those days, and the wash house where we kept the washing machine. And the wind blew so hard it just packed the snow in, so you could walk from the roof of one to the other,
really, right on top of the snow.
right on top of the snow.
Did the chickens make it?
Oh yeah, chickens were all
Too stupid to die.
too stupid to die. They were all so warm and clean in there in their little house.
Now, how did your house fare? Were you all warm enough and had enough food?
Oh,
And
no, take an old house. You know how warm you can be with the window blowing.
Probably not very, huh?
I always tell the kids how I laid up the stairs and watched the stars and the snow falling through the...
What would you say you did in the home for entertainment? Did
For
you have
entertainment,
Did you have a record player or a radio?
we had a
or-
radio,
Okay.
and radio ran off of the battery,
Hmm.
and the battery was wind operated.
Oh.
So
Well, then you always had battery because that South Dakota wind never quits.
yeah, but we kind of saved them too.
Sure.
My mom took the older girls to dances all the time. Like I told you, she took them out to Neptune Park, and Lawrence Welk played out there all the time.
How old do you sort of remember being when
Well, I
you
was
would go to
probably
those?
A sophomore in high school.
Okay.
I didn't go much though.
No.
The older girls did. That's the reason why they're better dancers than I.
Okay. So the Weises you sort of already knew.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd go as far as say RP had dated Dorothy, was it? When did you sort of become the chase?
I can't remember when or what
Okay.
happened.
What year did you go to? Just to give it reference, what year did you start college?
40?
In 1940. Okay. So good times. Things were starting to look up a little bit. The Depression was sort of crawling to a close.
Yeah.
And
Romaine used to work for Sue Steele. He used to have a gas station too, right
Yes.
there in T.
yes. Not to step on your story, but I remember still to that day the look of disappointment sort of deep in his eyes when he said, "Yeah, I had it all planned out." Shorty's service station. He had just gotten a shipment of tires and batteries, and boy, he felt like he was really ready to take on the world. And the Empire of Japan found it fit to attack Pearl Harbor, and the War Department came and took all his tires and
Yep.
his batteries. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, that's what he told me. So when did you start dating Romaine? You don't,
I don't
exactly
remember.
recall?
I do not
We used to go to
remember.
movies.
We'd maybe go down to Ted's dad, had a cafe down by the railroad tracks. This is in Sioux Falls. And there was Virginia number 1 and Virginia number 2. Number 1 was uptown, and he was out here by the tracks. And so we'd go down there and have steaks.
When RP shipped off, were you two were exclusive girlfriend boyfriend or just?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He gave me my ring before he left.
Okay. When did you marry?
In 43,
In 43. So did he came home?
I went out to California.
Oh.
I went out to California with Dorothy and
That's
Teddy.
right. He's shipped out. He's going to.
Camp Adair in Oregon.
Okay, so he had not yet killed a Nazi with his typewriter. Okay. And you decided you were going to go out to California and live with Dorothy. Now you found employment there
Well, Teddy had been working in the shipyard, you see.
in the shipyards in Oakland. Okay.
So, oh yeah, you can get a job there. I did.
So you worked in the shipyards.
Sheet metal.
In
We did quite a bit of the ventilation.
the HVAC as they call it. Well, they probably didn't have AC, but heating and ventilation on
Most
on
all your
ships.
sheet metal workers had helpers, and that's what I was.
Okay. And what
They
kind of
needed-
ships?
Huh?
What kind of ships do you recall?
Oh, big warships.
Warships.
Oh yeah.
There's a term that's in the vernacular for women who during wartime worked those kind of jobs. Are you familiar with that term?
Rosie the Riveter.
Yes, Marcella, you were a Rosie the Riveter,
I
and
was.
nobody seemed to know it. That's what I meant by it's so typical of your generation to say, do you? I
worked
think.
for Moore's Dry Dock, and right down the line was
Yep, Moore Dry Dock.
Kaiser's.
Yep, both big shipbuilding facilities in Oakland. They're actually still there. And
We used to always laugh at the Kaisers, though. They used to always see how fast they could put a ship up,
yeah.
Well, this one they sent down out of the dry dock, and it kind of cracked, I guess. Well, we claimed it fell apart,
They should have taken a few more, put a few more rivets in that one, huh?
Right.
Okay. So to take a step back, I'm sorry. I wanted to sort of make a big deal about the fact that you worked in the war effort. So RP got some leave, and you two got married in California.
In Oakland, yeah.
In Oakland, California. So war winds down. I don't want to. Spoiler alert: we won. He came back. You kids came back to Sioux Falls.
Yep.
RP was offered a job at the VA, but he had had his fill of the federal government. So what did he do?
He was offered a job at the lumber yard up in Hartford.
Who kids at that time?
Suzanne, Steve.
Suzanne and Steve were both born by then.
Yep.
Okay. You were there in Hartford for about 3 years and moved on to Indiana. What took you out to Indiana?
He got a job in the lumber yard.
A much better job? Do you recall it being?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, just something new,
Yeah.
new opportunity, maybe greener. Did he have? Did he or you have any misgivings about going so far from home?
I did not.
You didn't?
No.
Do you feel strongly? Because I know he felt very anchored to Sioux Falls, at least late in life when I knew him.
Oh, I know he did. Yeah.
So you moved out to Indiana. Where in Indiana?
South Bend.
To South Bend. To
New Carlisle.
New
right
Carlisle.
outside of South Bend.
Okay, but near.
It's a Polish community. That's where we fell in love with Notre Dame.
Of course. Oh, I thought Catholics were born with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we got a Notre Dame football, out of the stands.
Really?
We did.
Well, tell me about that.
This Katinger from Hartford came out to visit us, and we happened to get tickets to the game. And I don't know if it was an Army or Navy game. But anyway, Marion sat there, and she had hairpins in her hair yet. And that's before they put up the net when they kicked the ball, for the point after.
Sure.
And the ball came up there, and before you knew it, she had that blanket over that football and poking a hole in that. Had that football deflated and everything.
So,
the crowd went with us. They kept looking at or ushers were coming up and down looking for that ball. It goes up there.
wow, what a treasure.
Yeah, really.
Well, any idea what happened to the ball?
It's in the Legion Hall in Hartford.
Get out of here.
No, it is.
Oh, now I wish I had time to buzz out there and
Yeah, really.
take a picture. I didn't know that. Well, next time we're out there, I'm paying a call to Hartford.
And the Legion Hall.
And at the Legion. How many years were you in Indiana? I don't know very much about that. I've never really talked about that with you.
Keith was born there. The only one of our kids was born in Indiana. And I'd say he was about 3 years old when we moved to Webster.
What year? Let's see. Keith
was born in 51.
in 51.
55.
Now we've skipped a few. Just for clarity here, who was born in Hartford?
Stephen, Suzanne, Kathleen, and Joanna.
Okay, so all four of those went to
Or South
Indiana
Dakota.
with you. Were
Yep.
already born, and then Keith born in Indiana
Indiana.
in 51. Okay. And then what brought you to Webster? Another job offer?
Another job. Well, we went to Storm Lake after.
Oh, okay.
Nobody liked Storm Lake. We said something about Dad had another job offer, and those kids were packed before you could say snot. And
Okay.
nobody liked Iowa. Nobody.
Not even Iowans like Iowa. I wonder what makes them stay. Actually, that's for Troy. I was just teasing.
We came to Webster and we loved it.
Yeah.
For some reason or other, we just fell in
Just
love.
was a fit?
Pardon?
It was just sort of a good fit?
I don't know why. Romaine got a job over at Grantsburg after that, and I said, "You go if you want to. I'm not moving those kids again." I said, "They're happy here."
And you came
You
up
were
here and you moved in Here to this house?
No, over there, the brand new house. It was half finished. Foot's house.
Oh, okay. And what year was that?
When Cindy born? 59?
59, yeah. These are known as the lost years. Do you know there is not a single photograph of you between the years of 1952 and 1958? I thought it was a conspiracy or a Stalinist purge, you know, that something fishy was going on. But it just turns out you were really busy with babies.
I really was.
Did you answer that question? When did you get here to Webster? 50?
Whenever Cindy was born.
Was she born here? Yeah, she was, because she was born
June.
in Frederick. In Frederick.
Huh?
In Frederick, right? I mean, that's where the doctor was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
59?
59, that's right. June 16th, 1959. So she's been a Webster girl her whole life.
Yeah.
Not like that traveling band of gypsies that trailed behind Susie and Steve and the other two blonde ones. I forget their names.
Cindy and Charlie.
And Charlie. And at that point, did you just start hitting Romaine with a broom handle and say, "Get away from me"? Or
Yeah. I just said that.
that's enough,
that's enough.
pal. All kids have been born here in Webster by this point now. You're done
Yep.
having kids.
Yep.
Is there anything? What would you say you remember most, or maybe a fond memory of having that big brood of kids?
I think all of our family get-togethers, especially on my side. You know, like going over to Suzanne's.
Oh, sure.
She always had a big house too.
If you could hop out of your chair right now and run someplace, is there any place you'd like to visit? Something you didn't see that you say, "Boy, I wish I had time to go."
I've never learned to shop by a list, you know. So many times I want to go to the store and just walk around
just
like
wander?
I used to. You know. Just because I could drive myself there and I could go to the store whenever I wanted to.
Do you miss driving?
I do.
Do you feel like that was a piece of your independence that was sort of taken away?
You betcha. Yep.
Are you mad that Max got caught taking that car?
See, that was for Max's benefit. When Max was 15 or 16, the last day of school, he stole Grandma and Grandpa's car and went down to the cul-de-sac and whipped what we in the business call a Brody, and he got caught.
Well, tell me something about each one of your kids. Now, Stephen tragically was killed. What's something you remember about him? What kind of person was he?
Oh, he was a good little trooper. I remember being in Hartford and sending him down for, well, to begin with, when we first came out of the service, we used to have a test, you know. I belonged to a group that was, I don't know, nationally funded or something, you know. They'd send out new products and you were supposed to try them out and see what you thought of them and then send your vote back in, you know. And one of them was Downy. You know, we never have a fabric softener before that. And I just loved Downy because our water in Hartford was so hard. And I remember sending poor little Steve down to the store twice, and it used to come in glass bottles, of course.
Yeah.
And it took him three times before he got one bottle home without breaking it. He knew that I liked Butterfinger candy bars, and he'd never go any place without bringing me home a Butterfinger.
That is nice.
He was very good to Charlie and Cindy. He and Suzanne both. Very good substitutes. They'd come home from school and I'd say, "Oh, take these two kids out and take them for a walk so I can have some peace here and get supper started." And they would. They'd take the kids out.
What about Suzanne?
Suzanne was a regular little mother.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. I've
Yeah.
seen her as that.
Her and Lois Queen, you know, were good friends. And they went down to the cities as soon as they got out of high school and got a job. at Econo Lab.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of been in that kind of work all the time, hasn't she?
I guess she has. And so moving on to Kathleen. Is she next or is Joanne next?
She's what?
Who's next in line?
Kathleen.
That's what I thought.
She's not much of a joiner. She's kind of her own girl. I never had anybody with high blood pressure. I've never lived with anybody with high blood pressure until she came along. And she does have it. And Larry was in the other day picking up his pills, and I said, "What do you got pills for?" And he said, "Oh, high blood pressure." And I said, "Well," I said, "I haven't ever heard you yell." Oh, he said, "I'm a shade below her."
Yes. Well, he self-medicates with Miller High Life. And your distant daughter, Joanne. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was she as a baby, as a young lady?
Yeah. Joanne was always a pretty girl. Pretty baby. I don't know, what can I say about Joanne? Joanne never said much, because Kathleen always told her what to say and when.
And then Keith.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that I've never heard you call him Wiener.
Oh God, I hate that nickname.
I know you too. So that's why I said, and what about Keith?
He's a different boy too.
Was Keith? I know he bears us that Henry bears a striking resemblance to him.
Oh yeah.
He really does. When you look at kid pictures and pictures of him at that age, they really are almost twins. Is there a similar disposition?
Oh, I think Henry's very laid back, don't you?
Yes, I do. Was Keith?
I don't think so.
No?
I think he's kind of a rowdy. Well, look with the friends he ran
Well,
with.
he did run with a group of guys who named him Wiener. So, specifically talking about Cindy, what made that woman such a Christmas maniac? Was she always like that?
Cindy?
Yeah.
She's a little bit different, isn't she? You're going to put that in too, aren't you?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All I can say is, Cindy was not a pretty baby. She had these braces on for 5 years, I swear.
Well, I've often explained her smile in elementary school as Pangea. All of the continents used to be together, and they just slowly began drifting apart. Well, that's what her front teeth were doing. Oh, poor Charlie.
Well, I said to him, "Now we're done with her. Shouldn't you go and get yours straightened out now?" And no, he went, "Nothing to do with
I'm
it."
good.
Yeah.
You said at least to go out and get a haircut, would you?
Charlie, I just want to go on record and say that your mom had many nice things to say about you. They just happened to be wedged in between several not so nice things to say. So I opted to leave that clip out. But I've always felt that you're a stand-up guy with a firm handshake, a business degree, and a profile that the ladies seem to like. So you got that going for you, which is nice.
You sure I can't get you something to drink?
I'm done.
Okay. Oh, you're done? You've had enough?
I'm done.
All right.